What's up? What's up? Welcome to This Week in White Supremacy. Wow, it seemed like it was a little...
It did seem extra today. Yeah.
Black claps were a little loud.
You know, because I usually fade it.
That's the Kamala effect.
Oh, wow.
Oh.
More excitement.
More excitement. More
The black community.
More cowbell, more coconut. I'm here for all of it.
All right. My name is Jasiri X. I'm co-founder and CEO of One Hood Media. Welcome. This is This Week in White Supremacy. We're happy that you joined us. And we know you're not here to see me. We know why you're here. It's to see.
It's a miracle.
Hey. Oh, you got to do it twice. Hey. Finally got it right.
See, that's why men gotta talk to other men so things can get right.
You're right. You're right.
What's up? It's your girl Miracle, aka Big Blessing with Big Blessings. And I'm just happy to be here. It was a very like Hillary Duff, Missy Elliott type of morning. But now I'm here.
I don't know if I...
Yeah, what is that? Yeah, me neither.
I can't stand the rain.
I can't stand the rain.
Okay.
It was crazy. Yeah.
It was just, I was like, what is happening?
Yeah.
Because it started just like super early and I was like, why is like my house like it's shaking?
Yeah.
And I looked at my phone and it said heavy rain. I said, oh no.
Yeah, I don't like when you go on the weather app and it's the sun and then it starts to rain and you feel like, I feel lied to
Yeah, you duped.
by the weather app. Yeah.
I just wake up every day and I'm surprised by the weather because like the weather app always lies.
It does. We'll have to, maybe Kamala can help that. Well, we can get on that as well. My brother.
It's your boy Trevor on the less. Clearly niggas like sunshine.
Yes.
Niggas look sleepy.
Yeah.
But niggas like storms though.
Oh, okay. Okay, I like that. that. Yeah, you like that. Little new addition, huh? Can you stand the rain, huh? You want to know? You want to know? Or SWV maybe. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Down on me, yeah.
come on. And my brother.
My name must be He Ain't Shit. Because every time I'm in the hood, they be like, he ain't shit. I'll be that.
Like he constipated.
Is that how you was when you were at the rally on Saturday?
Yeah. That's
Sunday.
He was there to support. He was there to scout. It was joking.
Oh wow.
Let me stop.
Oh wow. You knew the ladies would be at the
Hold on. Now we're gonna move on.
Say it. Go ahead and say it.
No. I have internally told myself I wouldn't bully you on this platform, bro.
I didn't even do nothing besides show up in solidarity for you.
I know. So I said I wasn't gonna bully you this week or next week.
Okay.
Yeah.
Look at me doing better.
Look at you doing well. I mean, I think maybe because that is the energy. You know, we got a comment.
No, it was because I said that I was gonna be nice with you, Farouk.
I have a real question for you that I've been dying to ask you.
What?
Okay.
Does Kamala pass the color chart for you?
Hi.
Hey. Wait, pause that. Yeah, everybody, wait. We haven't got an answer yet. Or are you Miracle? Or are you? Or do you represent the sway Lee wing of the black community?
I've been dying to know this. Does she have the complexion for the election, Miracle?
Oh shit.
The complexion for the election. That is a new one. I don't think I've heard that one before.
I just came up with that off the cuff.
It's crazy.
A reminder that the color chart is about behavior and not skin tone.
Okay.
I mean, again, I'm asking.
What are you asking? I don't know why you're asking me these questions.
I mean, you're the A mic. We have to
me
know.
all these questions, assuming.
Asking all them questions.
Where have they been? Shout out to
They
them.
had beef. They almost fought on Wild 'N Out. Remember that?
That is true.
Yeah.
I miss comedy, but I will answer the question. I think the question is what you're asking me is do I view Kamala as a black woman? Yes, she's a black woman.
Come on now. There we
I think that was the question that you were like, I don't take away people's blackness. I just question some.
Miracle's going to show up to the next Kamala rally with a brown paper bag and hold it next to her.
No, I mean, is she a lighter-skinned biracial woman, multicultural woman? Yes.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I mean, that's fine. But again, like you say, blackness is universal.
It is.
Our experiences are not. So yes, I do do, if the question is, do I view her as a Black woman? Yes, I view her as a Black woman. I do think it's very stupid for a lot of these people to be like, she's not Black, because like in the American sense of things,
clearly she is.
Like clearly she is a Black woman, and clearly she is someone who was also culturally Black, you know, was with, you know, her Jamaican family.
Went to HBCU.
Went to just like,
you seen the haircut she was rocking in the 90s? Like, come on, like she had the Halle Berry mushroom cut. Like, yo,
I think it again, and as the thing says, like, to question people's Blackness when you know we were all on the same boat never makes sense to me.
It doesn't.
And there's a difference between saying somebody does not have an American Black experience, than saying someone doesn't have a Black experience. And for a lot of folks, I think they try to make that argument, but when you have someone who's raised in the United States, who spends a significant portion of their time in the United States as a Black woman with, you know, one of the coolest, like,
come on,
I like was one of the coolest fathers, I would think, like, just like, I would have loved to have family who was like that politically forward and would have that type of like political ideology. I don't understand like how she became who she was with how she was raised, but like I really like, you know, he was like a Marxist and a leftist.
Oh,
like,
I didn't know anything about her dad.
Like, you know, and
that
so
sounds like, are you trying to make some comments about Kamala's ideology?
No, I mean but I think that's very common that a lot of like conservatives.
She has a Marxist dad, and then she started locking people up. Is that true?
Yeah.
Oh wow. Well, you know that's being refuted now.
No, I mean she didn't mass lock up people. Correct. But I think people have to be very honest. Prosecutor is a cop.
That's what it
like. Whether you like it or not, a progressive cop is still a cop.
True.
And as part of a prosecutor's job, it is to lock up people.
Absolutely, yes.
And when your job is to lock up people, you are going to ensnare innocent people.
Of course,
you have to make value judgments. She had made value judgment around sex workers. She did a lot of things, right?
Yeah.
And so I don't think it is necessary to pretend like she wasn't a prosecutor.
Right. Oh,
I think it is more important to, like I told people, lean into her record and how she changed and how she evolved and how she tried to reform the systems that she was in.
Yes.
But I don't think it needs to be like she never locked up anybody. Yeah, she was a prosecutor.
And I think that's she's going up against a convicted felon.
Right.
Which
that's also kind of what, but again, like, right, because I know that sometimes as Black people, it's like, when you make that determination, like prosecutor versus felon, because a lot of us have and know people that are, you know, formerly
impacted by the justice system,
former felons, that even that can be a little bit tricky to make that terminology, like, you know what I mean?
And just for me, I just hate that, like, now the face of prosecution is Black women, whether it's Fannie, whether it's Kim. When you think of prosecutors now, you think of like Black women. So it's also this conversation about like white supremacy and how we engage systems and how we try to radicalize and reform systems that we're in. But yeah, so yes, I do think Kamala is a Black woman.
Yes.
I appreciate what you said about leaning into her record and looking at how she's changed, because as someone who has been impacted by the justice system and also who had reservations about Kamala when she was announced as VP, and I like hearing that, because that gives me an ability to kind of look at her in a different light as politicians evolve, specifically in like the political spectrum that we're faced with right now. Am I still the largest fan of her? Not entirely, but like I do appreciate the fact that there have been some more progressive moments in her career that have come to light that I wasn't aware of. So there's education that I've been doing.
Have you been doing your research? Did you?
A little bit, yeah.
Sway Lee asked us to do our research.
Jesus Christ.
About Kamala.
And you know, that's my problem.
And her whole camp.
He was right, though. I just want to point out that Sway, his numbers were wrong.
He was right?
His numbers were
Sway
wrong.
Lee was right? Wait, what do you mean his numbers?
He was, for instance, he was like, everybody would get like $200,000. Like, no, you would not get $200,000, right? We have sent trillions of dollars in foreign aid, and the past year alone, we have spent billions of dollars to carry out what is happening in the Middle East, particularly within Palestine. And Biden did say, you know what, I believe so much in what's happening, I'm going to go around Congress and give a few extra $1 billion.
Yes.
And so he was right to talk about that. His numbers off.
Yeah.
Right.
And I think it was Van Layson. I think that's how you say his name.
Yeah. Van
he was like,
Layson,
we got to give rappers a political class. We need to teach rappers civics 101.
I know. I 1,000% agree.
Because, like,
These niggas be saying stupid shit.
They get like 25% shit right.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Sorry. I hate cussing. They get like things that are 25% right.
Yeah.
And then that 75%, you be like, oh my God. Like, why? You know, why?
But also, I think people were upset. I think people looked at somebody like Sway Lee and said, like, okay, well, it's interesting that you had this critique of Kamala Harris, but you don't have a critique about Donald Trump. You know what I'm saying? And so I think that's where people, now if he also had a critique about Donald Trump and said like, oh, by the way, here's the failings of Donald Trump as well.
Now what he does have is a song called Up Like Donald Trump.
Oh shit. Okay. Well,
I didn't
maybe
know that.
trying to get them stands off. You know what I'm saying? So again, I think that's where it is. But
what if he's like, that's the new official campaign song for the Trump campaign?
Well, however, so
you got Beyonce, I got Sway Lee.
Well, again, that does it right. And not only just Beyonce, I mean, Meg Thee Stallion in Atlanta with Kamala. I think that happens this week, right?
I'm telling you right now.
So,
the hair is going to be herring.
oh, yes.
The makeup is going to be slave.
Oh,
Faces is
absolutely not.
going to be beat to the gods.
Yes.
Like, yo,
Yes.
they is going to be looking crazy.
So you
Meg has a very culturally relevant conversation to be a woman who's been under attack by hip hop,
1,000%.
who's been shot, who's had to go through the prosecutorial system. I think it's going to be, because at first I was like, she's not even from Atlanta. She don't rep Atlanta. Like, why
from
is she
Houston,
the Atlanta person? But I think it'll be an interesting conversation.
right. But
I'm
again,
excited for it.
But again, it's like
Baddies on stage.
Stop.
one is running for president, sir.
She's a,
I mean,
she's a very lovely looking lady.
So who's married. So now look, but it is
Just because they're goalie don't mean you can't score.
And then it makes you wonder, like, is it oh shit. Is that what we're doing? Wow. Just because there's a goalie
He said
don't mean you can't score.
Farouk also said your first husband.
Listen,
Wow.
He said
hey,
you
listen,
got
you miss 100% of the shots you
Wow.
don't
He
take.
said plot and scheme. He said you wanna win the black
Aren't
vote.
we? Look,
Put me on your roster.
you about to go on the other list.
Professional side nigga right here. Sign me the fuck up. Give me my Secret Service clearance and I'm good.
Is it because it's the morning time? I mean, we're just all over the place. But maybe it's going to be, maybe it's like rappers for, I mean, we already seen all the Zooms, right? So maybe rappers for Kamala Zoom coming up. Maybe formerly incarcerated for Kamala Zoom. I mean, we've already seen the white women came on and broke Zoom, right? With over 100,000 people. And then the white dudes for Kamala, supposedly over 150,000 white dudes. The white women raised $1 million. The white dudes raised $4 million.
I got it. If we do an incarcerated Zoom call for Kamala, commissary call.
Oh,
The commissary.
restraining
I
order.
don't know if that's, but again, it's all of this. I guess we found out earlier today about like Kamalot. You know what I'm saying?
Kamalot, yeah.
So it does seem that, and so much so,
Kamalot?
that's what
That's her contingent.
Yes,
Like the
Kamalot.
like Nicki got the barbs.
Yeah, and everybody's the White House is gonna be Kamalot now. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's
You know,
that's kind
That's
of
crazy.
So it's
that
like
I'm
this-
not. Yo, that shit is crazy.
It's this momentum, right?
You don't
know
like
what I'm
it?
saying?
Yeah.
So much so that the white dudes for Harris, like Elon suspended their Twitter.
Yeah.
Like Elon was like, no, he suspended their Twitter account. And so again, like there's all this momentum, and the momentum, culminated in
An endorsement?
the black people coming together, right?
Yeah.
The Obamas, Kamala, she got the call.
Kamala Obama sound kind of hard.
She got the endorsement. Did you want to play the call?
did.
Like the very well produced video.
Hello.
Hey,
Hi.
Hey there.
the double call, the dual call, right?
Together. Oh, it's good to hear you both.
I can't have this phone call
You're
without
both
saying
together.
to my girl Kamala, I am
My
proud
girl.
of you. This is going to be historic.
We
Yes.
called to say Michelle and I couldn't be prouder to endorse you and to do everything we can to get you through this election and into the Oval Office.
Oh my goodness.
Wow.
Michelle, Brock, this means so much to me.
It is very
I'm
well
looking
produced.
forward to
Come
doing
on,
this
man.
with the
Yeah,
two
you
of
gotta do it like
Michelle and I
that.
both. and getting out there, being on the road. But most of all, I just want to tell you the words you have spoken and the friendship that you have given over all these years mean more than I can express.
Wow.
So thank you both. It means so much. And we're going to have some fun with this too, aren't we?
Who ranks higher, white dudes for Kamala or
Or the commentary?
blacks for Trumps?
Oh. I mean,
So I mean,
what about niggas for Trump?
I mean,
Don't
yeah, I forgot-
dare.
I forgot.
Niggas got that. That's crazy.
That's crazy. So Miracle,
Huh?
it's looking
I like
like
Trouble hasn't spoken.
it's looking
I feel
like we're gonna go around. But I'm just saying, it's looking like it is a right. All the polls now are showing like Kamala leading in Wisconsin, leading in Michigan, leading in Pennsylvania. Right, all of these swing states. Like, is this just the beginning or like the honeymoon phase, or
it's the
is this the
honeymoon
momentum
phase.
that's going to continue to go? Raise $200 million already. Oh, so this is just the
Oh, I thought you were still asking the question.
no.
Oh, I could go. Yeah, I think it's still the honeymoon phase, but I think also they're putting in the groundwork. So they're getting people to canvass and to sign up. So they're basically doing the Obama strategy again. So people are going to be door knocking, canvassing.
Yes.
All of that work. Basically learning from Hillary. You never say you won without putting the work in and making sure every door is knocked. I do wonder what the October surprise is going to be, because it's like there's been so many twists and turns and plots within this election season that I'm just like, oh my God, what else is going to happen? What else is going to, pop up on us? But I do think that it's going to be a good ground game. I know she's supposed to announce her VP this week, allegedly.
All right. Yeah.
And so-
It says, just to touch on this before you continue, it says Kamala has raised $200 million and signed up 170,000 volunteers. It says 66% of the donations come from first-time contributors in the 2024 election cycle. Over 170,000 volunteers have also signed up for those Get Out to Vote efforts.
Correct. Again, we told people. I know y'all came for me. Biden was not good for us.
Yes.
But nobody was excited. Nobody felt hope and change. Nobody, whatever. I do think Kamala has stumbled on the enthusiasm, in the sense that when you're watching her video and she was like, we're not going back, and everybody got so excited about that being the theme.
Yeah.
That it was she was like, wait,
Does she have a slogan yet?
Freedom, we're not going back, forward, they're still
I
working.
like we're not going back.
They're
That's kind
still-
of hot.
Yeah, I like that. I like that.
We're still working things out.
Because it's the opposite of Make America Great Again. It's no, we're not going back.
That is, absolutely.
we ain't
I didn't even think about that. That is fucking brilliant.
Yeah.
It was really, really good. So they're still in development of a lot of
An official slogan.
official slogans. Mind you, allegedly, people only had 10 minutes notice that Biden was dropping out.
Yeah.
They didn't want the news to leak and everything.
Right.
So a lot of people weren't aware. And then they weren't aware if there was going to be a nomination or a competition at the DNC.
Which is what Trump is using to backslide out of his debate.
But he's already agreed and the dates are already there. So basically we just have to wait till after the convention. That's what I do about nothing.
Yeah.
Because
absolutely.
she's not even allowed to debate until after the convention because she's not the nominee yet.
Well, and again, I think that's interesting because, so it says Trump says he will probably debate her, but he can also make a case for not doing it. You know what I'm
He
saying?
doesn't want to get smoked on live camera.
But again,
You know what I
I
mean?
think, and we'll get into this, and I'm going to come to you, Trouble. I think what you can't do is say she's dumb,
Right.
and then you don't want to debate her. But we'll get into the Trump, trying to frame of Kamala Harris. Trouble. Are you feeling the momentum? Are you ready to organize? I don't know what Gen Z's for Trump. I mean, not for Trump. Lord have mercy.
Nah.
Gen Z's
I'm not doing that.
Gen Z's for Kamala, the Zoom. Are you excited? Are you ready to knock doors? I mean, how do you feel in this moment?
In this moment, I like the momentum that I'm seeing.
Yeah.
I am still interested in seeing policies.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? I'm still interested to see what she's going to stand on,
Right.
what she's going to lead with in her campaign. And I want it to be something stronger than I'm not Trump. Let's beat Trump.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
You want more than like we're not going back.
You want
something more than
substance.
Yeah. Niggas like substance. You feel me?
Yes.
And I don't know about organizing, but I am excited if she does become the Democratic nominee. I would be excited to see that debate.
Yeah.
Because I feel like it would be a lot more compelling than a Joe and Trump debate. Because Kamala is a prosecutor, she knows how to refute claims.
Yes.
She knows how to keep her facts straight.
Yes.
And she's young enough to have the energy to
Come on
actually
now.
remember
Yes.
her points
Yes.
and come with some fire. You know
She's
what
not
I'm
going to
saying?
need like help off the stage.
Yeah, facts.
She gonna
what I'm saying?
moonwalk
Like,
up and down
yes,
his ass.
yes,
Like,
yes.
yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, you know, I think, and that's one of the things about her being a prosecutor is like her being comfortable in that setting
Yes.
of like a me versus you environment.
Yes.
Where she's gonna be good on her feet.
Right.
Like, you know, that's just like her like getting back on a bicycle. Like she's gonna be
shit.
wild comfortable up there. And specifically like following all this momentum she has a target. We
Yeah.
know, like, as a prosecutor, you definitely zero in on your target.
Yeah.
And then, like, she's going to treat this like a courtroom.
Right. And it's like, that's probably like that debate setting
Yeah. That's
is probably her best.
absolutely.
Like, that's her strength.
Yes.
And we know it's not Trump's strength because Trump has been.
I mean, well, he
kind
goes
of-
in there and talks shit. And, like,
Well,
Trump is
yeah.
good in a debate.
But he's kind of like rambles.
Yeah.
And so it'll be interesting to see, like, you would think as a prosecutor and as a lawyer, you know, Miracle, as a lawyer, that like you want that person to lie because you're ready with the truth and you can kind of expose a lie. And that was one of the things that Biden didn't do, right?
Right.
He kind of allowed Trump to tell these lies and he wasn't strong enough and he didn't have enough breath to really be able to like
literally
forcefully defend, you know, his record or just say like this is a lie. So we believe in this moment that Kamala will be willing and able to do that. And it does look like she has that momentum right now.
Yeah, you know, I think like for the debate when we get there, it's gonna be like a wrestling shoot. You know what I mean? Like how
It's
Trump,
gonna
how
be must-watch TV.
Yeah, like Hulk Hogan came up and did his wrestling bit to endorse Trump.
Oh, yeah, that was weak.
Trump is gonna come out and talk all this shit, but Kamala's like, "Can you whoop my ass?" You know what I mean?
Yes.
Yeah, I hear you, but can you whoop my ass?
Right,
You doing you selling all these wolf tickets, you chatting this big noise, but nah.
And it's interesting because, you know, Trump and
Big Mama ain't with it.
so,
Kamala's crazy.
Big Mama.
Big Mama. So we got commissary, and then we got Big Mama.
Yo, that Lotto song, Big Mama, like, what you gonna do for Big Mama?
Big
like,
Mama?
yo, that's what she need to come out for, man. Like, yo.
Miracle.
I
do
feel
you
like
co-sign this?
the more he talks, the more feet are about to be added to this restraint.
It's getting longer and longer. Now, speaking of, I guess,
Oh wow.
what he say?
Wow.
I missed that. What was this?
Just wait to the edit.
Oh God.
Now I do want to.
Yes.
I just thought of another response to your question about like what I organize. I don't know if there's a candidate out there that would move me to organize around them.
Okay.
Only because I'm still in a position, and I feel like a lot of people in my age group are in this position of like wondering how much we believe in the proposition of statism enough
Right.
to like rally around a candidate for election.
Correct.
You know what I'm saying? Because we keep seeing examples of how the state fails us.
Yes.
We keep seeing examples of how they don't move with our best interests in mind.
Absolutely.
We keep having these election cycles where we're given promises, but then once they get elected, either none of that shit happens or they do the bare minimum and then they further prove how they're not there for us and our benefit.
Yeah.
Well, and I think, again, like, you know, it's interesting because I was looking at some of the, you know, we did a series of videos encouraging people to get involved in the electoral process. And I thought yours was really, really powerful because you was kind of like, you honestly said like, well, you know, I don't know about voting. However, and you kind of gave a really breakdown of it. And I think for us, to me, I look at it like harm reduction, right? Mm-hmm. So again, like, I think, am I somebody that's like, am I going to get my Kamala swag and put, you know, the shirts on and the hats on? And am I invested in like this person? No. You know what I'm saying? Like, again, but when you look at Kamala versus Trump, and I, as a person who, you know, like, is like, okay, well, what will cause my community less harm? I think the choice is clear right now, particularly because Trump just came out and basically said, if you vote this time, Hey, if you just come out and vote in this election, you don't got to worry about the next 4 years because, you know what I'm saying, we're going to have this shit locked down. You know what I'm saying? So it was like, wait a second. What? And again, you have immunity now as a president. What's an official act? Could an official act be, I'm suspending elections?
Yeah, make it a monarchy.
I'm suspending elections from now on. This is an official act. Like, how can we then, are you going to mobilize a police or army against Trump? When you see all these individuals, a lot of police and army folks were the ones that attacked the Capitol on January 6th. And so do you have that video of Donald Trump to the Christians telling them, you don't have to vote again?
Christians, get out and vote just this time.
It's this one.
You won't have to do it anymore. 4 more years, you know what? It'll be fixed. It'll be fine. You won't have to vote anymore, my beautiful Christians. I love you, Christians. I'm a Christian.
Does he say I'm not Christian? Because I played this clip a few times, and it sounds like he says I'm not Christian.
Does he say that?
It sounded like at the very end.
Maybe he got a little bit truthful.
You know what this reminded me of? Never mind.
What did it remind you of? Please, Miracle, if you already started, what does it remind you of?
I'll be like, just a tip, I promise.
Oh,
like, that's literally what he is saying. He's literally about to screw everyone over. Like,
1,000%.
absolutely not. And it was just like, come on.
Yeah.
This is like absolutely ridiculous.
Right.
Everything is going to be fixed in 4 years, so you won't have to come out and vote. Like, there is a segment of the Christian population who's like, you know, everything, you know, it's happening. It's the Lord's business. So like, we don't vote.
Yes.
And so I get that what he's talking about, but it's also like, you can't tell people all they have to do is vote one time.
Yeah, I mean, well, again, it's like saying the quiet part out loud. And it's like one of the fears that people had was Donald Trump getting into office with this level of immunity, and what would he do? And people have been saying, like, I mean, think about it.
He said, I'm the dictator on day one. That's
what he said.
He said that's his words.
And remember, this is the same person who lost an election in 2020 and really tried to persuade Mike Pence to change the rules so he could remain president. And then when Mike Pence didn't want to do it, they wanted to hang this dude like at the Capitol. They built a galley for this dude's neck. You know what I'm saying?
That's still one of the most insane things that happened in our lifetime.
And Trump said, y'all not going back, neither will I. Like, making plans to be a permanent resident.
Yeah. So again, like, and the fact that he still believes that, even though all this evidence shows it wasn't any voter manipulation like they were talking about, right? You have all of these former Trump people that he put into his cabinets, and so none of them are supporting him. So yeah, I mean, do y'all think that, like, is Trump gonna, I mean, if Trump gets into office,
his vice president is going to be Putin, and his secretary of defense is going to be Netanyahu.
I mean, it looks like that, right?
Yeah, really.
I mean, it definitely looks like that. And so, but again, so now is that more, should we now, just based off what we just said about rallying and organizing, if that's the case, if we have the possibility of a Trump dictatorship, should we be then signing up and knocking on doors for Kamala Harris?
I mean, you have to look at it like Treble mentioned something about the vested interests of would you say statehood?
Yes,
statism. Yeah, like if you're looking this purely on a democratic sense, right? Trump has a highly vested interest in foreign powers, and he has prioritized Russia. He's prioritized Israel. He has prioritized allegiances to those
Saudi Arabia.
Into the Saudis
who have cut them checks.
Yeah, right. And then so if that there couldn't be anything less American than that.
Yeah, I mean,
really and truly, they couldn't. It doesn't matter if you're talking about which candidate is better. If you're looking for the security and safety as yourself as a citizen of the United States of America, then you only have really one viable option: someone who is not pandering to the well-being and the welfare and the interests of foreign powers.
Yeah, I mean, the dude he talks about like, oh, how great a relationship he has with Putin, how like him and Kim Jong-un, they're like best friends. I mean, he talks about like these dictators in this way of like, you know, they're friends of mine.
Emulated Hitler.
Right. And so again, so why do you talking about Putin, you're talking about Kim Jong-un, you're talking about people that have been in office, they're not going anywhere.
Yeah.
They kind of solidified power and they won't. So it's like, okay, these are all the people that you love. And again, like it is very un-American, but you know, the religion of America to me, and a lot of these Trump followers, their religion is white supremacy. It's not even Christianity. And so the reason you love Trump is because he's so openly racist and he says all these things that you want to say, and he represents like this white male power structure, that this what you want to go back to. When we were all subservient and subjective, you didn't have to see black people, you didn't have to see gay or trans people, right? You didn't have to see brown folks, right? We gotta lock the border down.
He's gonna have one in the White House with JD Vance's wife.
Well,
I mean, obviously she's not white.
I mean, that's what he said.
Yeah, it took a while for that one to register, didn't it?
That's what he said, which was a very weird statement to kind of speak of your wife in that way. Well, obviously she's not white, but great mom, great person.
But she's just not white.
Wait, is one, is that significant to the other? And it's interesting too to see now the critique, the Trump critique on Kamala. And again, you wonder how this is going to play out, right? Donald Trump is supposedly going to the National Black Association of Journalists Convention.
Interesting.
Right? And that's going to happen this week. And there was a lot of critique.
In Chicago.
But let's just be clear. This is something Biden wouldn't have done.
Well, we don't know. I don't know. I mean, because Biden did do.
He went to barbecues,
but he also
went to church's chicken and Popeyes.
He probably after the debate. Remember, Biden did a lot of interviews. They were all bad.
Yeah,
but he did like a lot of them were with black journalists.
That's very true.
A lot of them were like, I guess they gave him the questions or whatever. Some of them were edited, so they weren't bad. But I think Biden would have done it. But again, here's Donald Trump. You've said all of these negative things about Chicago, the city.
Yeah.
Right? You've been very critical of Chicago, right? One of these shithole cities, right? And you're facing a candidate that is a black woman, passed Miracle's test, thankfully, right? And you're going to be interviewed by these 3 black women journalists, but you've called her dumb. You've called her stupid.
Yeah.
Like your whole thing now is that she's do you have the clip where he says she was low IQ?
Yeah.
I'm facing this low
This room
IQ.
is amazing. The people in this room, high IQ individuals. I'm running against a low IQ individual, her. I'm not even talking about him, her. I got a low IQ individual.
So again, it'll be interesting now because, I also thought it was fascinating to talk about, like, if I'm going to the Black Association or National Association of Black Journalists Convention, it's like now I have to face like all of this extra security, all these extra police. Like, what does that mean to my own personal safety? Now you might be facing all these MAGA people, these white supremacists coming to see Trump or view Trump. Now all of a sudden, like my personhood might be in danger because of when Trump comes, what comes with him. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Imagine Biden at this if he was there and he just kind of forgot where he was and he started asking the journalists, how did you get here? Did you take a bus? I was against that.
Like when he was dancing, like when they had the hip hop thing.
Yeah, and he was just like,
you seen him like go into like he was just thinking about something else.
Like a geriatric blackout.
Biden isn't the president. I mean, well, he is the president.
I was saying,
my bad. Biden is not the candidate.
No.
So Miracle is.
I'm sure he's a candidate for something.
Yeah, I mean, and then we can get into Biden has also, he's starting to make his little moves as president, right? He talked about expanding or not expanding the Supreme Court. He talked about term limits, right? Reforming the Supreme Court.
Yeah.
And hopefully this is the beginning of a bunch of.
Clarence Thomas was like, try me. Me and Jenny got something for that ass.
But hopefully,
Jenny, and Harlan Crow got something for that ass.
Because he is a quote unquote lame duck president.
Yeah.
Like, hopefully, this is the first of the many reforms that folks wanted to see you do. You don't have to worry about how they play in the campaign trail. But again, Miracle. Trump is coming. Also, this is on the heels of a Newsweek article saying that Donald Trump's gains with black voters have been wiped out. Black voters it says Trump's gains with black voters have eroded since Biden dropped out of the race. So he's losing support among black people. He's going to go sit in front of these black people in Chicago. Is this a good idea?
I guess we just found out orange isn't the new black.
Miracle. Do you have some serious commentary
of
for
course,
us?
I think it's always going to be a good idea because it's going to show that he is trying to reach his audience.
But this isn't this isn't the Detroit church. Supposedly these are real journalists that might ask the real questions.
What's her Ferris Faulkner, whatever her name is? She's a Republican. She's a Fox News journalist, right?
And she's whack.
So some of these people are conservative. So this is also like a friendlier conversation.
Yes.
So I do think it's going to be good for him.
Yes.
I think it's bad for the organization because
Definitely.
they didn't let people know, like how do you tell people like the day before, and then you don't have like a security or a safety plan, knowing that a large portion of your membership are people that he has targeted.
Yes.
So did you reach out to the queer contingent of the organization? Did you reach out to the disabled, the immigrant contingent of your organization and let them know this was alternatives, to be provided for them? So I think that's very problematic. But also, it's candidate season, it's campaign season. Invite all the candidates. August 1st is our deadline here in Pennsylvania. And on August 2nd, every person that's on the ballot is going to get the same email when we reach out to them. So I understand everybody talks to the candidates. Yeah. But can you imagine Jasiri interviewing Trump? I'm going to die laughing.
Oh, I mean, again,
I pitched
it obviously wouldn't happen.
It would be Farouk. Farouk would be like, I'd be there right now.
Yeah. But again,
I have a shirt to wear right now.
You mentioned it. It says there were journalists. This is CBS sports analyst Ashley Nicole Moss said, quote, "This is supposed to be a safe space for black journalists to connect, network. It's a space to uplift current and upcoming journalists, to remind each other that we belong. He has absolutely zero business being in a room like this." Another journalist turned publicist, Dave Jordan, said, "Why on earth would the National Association of Black Journalists engage with a man who repeatedly vilifies and debases the free press? This is beyond comprehension." You know what I'm saying? And then he already put out a statement where he kind of lied in the statement, like, "Oh, I'm coming to see the black journalists. I've done more for black Americans than any other president." Yeah. So he's already kind of quoting this. So it will be interesting if he's challenged on this, and to what degree is he's challenged, and or will people just be caught up in the culture personality? You had a comment, Trouble?
Yeah, I see this kind of backfiring for him. I feel like the more Trump speaks, the less power he has in a candidacy. Just because like we're seeing that he's lying. He lost the black vote.
Yes.
It seems like the only thing he has against Kamala right now is that he thinks she's dumb.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like, what can he really say against someone like Kamala?
Right.
Like Biden was an easy target, but now with Kamala, it's like he's kind of like at a loss for words.
Right. And it's like, particularly when, this just happened, right? Literally, like, then this was, to me, one of the most hilarious headlines that I've seen. Is like the leaders of the Republican Party literally had to sit the other people down and say, "Hey, guys, can you stop being racist towards Kamala Harris?" You know what I'm saying? Like, there was so much racism by people in the Republican Party that they literally had to sit them down, Mike Johnson, who is the head of Congress, and say, "Please stop being racist towards Kamala Harris." I mean, so again, if this is your party and you're coming to this black journalist convention, it is wild. And like, will he address this? You know what I'm saying? It says in a closed door meeting on Tuesday, House GOP leaders told Republicans to focus on Harris's policy record rather than go after her identity. You know what I'm saying? But that hasn't happened. And we haven't really seen Trump focus on her policy efforts. We've seen you call her dumb. We've seen you call her low IQ. We've seen you call her radical, a Marxist, all of these really disparaging things, but not her record. So it will be interesting to see if it does backfire. And, again, I guess we'll see. Did you have a comment, Fru?
I think it's interesting to look at this because Trump's biggest enemy right now has been prosecutors, and as Miracle said, you know what I mean? So like really and truly, like this is probably wild triggering for him. and Miracle has said like it's very interesting that black women have emerged as the face of prosecution in the country.
True.
But like if anything, that's to be the stance. What were you about to say?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, it's different.
Okay, go ahead.
But for a lot of people, it's going to also hurt Kamala, him being there, because and somebody had just tweeted this out, for the past like week and a half, we've told all these black progressive leftists that like you're supporting fascism if you're talking about Palestine, if you're demanding about fracking, if you're talking about her policy records, you're supporting fascism, right? You are uplifting and you're supporting Trump if you talk about third party candidates, and then here is the largest group of black journalists,
Right.
giving him free airtime, and promotion.
Yeah.
So now how are you going to turn around and tell people who are protesting her that they're supporting fascism and supporting Trump and allowing a Trump presidency if you're literally doing the very exact thing you accuse them of doing?
Well, so I wouldn't say that's the exact same thing.
There has been a conversation about like, if you critique her, you're helping Trump.
Yeah, but this is an interview with Trump, though. This isn't a critique of Kamala.
That's what I'm saying. But now how are you then? How is these same organizations going to tell people they can't critique her anymore?
Well, again, I think like I would say anybody saying you can't critique somebody that's a politician or running for president is really backwards, right?
Now then people about to be in their car yelling at you on their TikTok and listen.
I just think that's ridiculous. However, because I think that's what the process is for, right? Yes. Like you can critique somebody and still love them. Like you can critique somebody and still vote for them. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, there's no politician in no office that I'm in 100% agreement of. It's politics. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. However.
What if I was to take office?
Yeah, same. I mean, I don't agree with you right now. I mean, watch the show. What are you talking about? Like, look at the show. Like, we just all the time. You're going to be the crime. You're going to run on crime. That's going to be your thing. I love crime.
Instead of America runs on Duncan, America runs on crime.
Well, that's sadly true. But however, like, but I do think it's different in terms of like, as a journalist, like every year they invited both candidates. It's just so that he decided to accept. But I think how they did it was wrong. They should have came out and said, hey, Trump has accepted this. We want to let people know that are coming to the convention that he did accept. We're going to interview him. I do think bringing in the Fox News person is also whack. But again, you want to appear balanced. There's that whole journalist thing. We want to appear balanced.
They should have Speedy do it.
But we'll see. But we'll see if it backfires, because one of the things that it seems has backfired against Trump is his choice of vice president.
Jesus Christ.
Because JD Vance has came out and just
foot and mouth every time he talks.
Every single time. And, from first, and again, like when you nominate somebody, they start pulling those clips. And the first clip that people pulled was this clip where he talked about childless cat ladies. Do you have that clip for us, Farouk?
Look, what I was basically saying is that we're effectively run in this country via the Democrats, via our corporate oligarchs, by a bunch of childless cat ladies who are miserable at their own lives and the choices that they've made. And so they want to make the rest of the country miserable too. And it's just a basic fact. You look at Kamala Harris, Pete Buttigieg, AOC, the entire future of the Democrats is controlled by people without children. And how does it make any sense that we've turned our country over to people who don't really have a direct stake in it? Look,
Miracle, you don't. I guess like your own life is in this thing.
What were you about to say? Finish that question.
I was gonna ask you, as somebody with all three of you all don't have children. I'm gonna start with you, like I normally do.
Who don't have children?
Oh yes, right. So yes, that might be a spoiler. For people
Stop.
Watch the show before.
I'm gonna bring it back.
Right, but wait, hold up. He also said, Obviously, I have nothing against cats, but he said the Democratic Party has become anti-family and anti-child. So the idea that because you don't have a child, right, that you don't have a stake in the future of like your own life isn't the same. But I was just gonna say, as somebody who don't have a child,
Buttigieg has 2 children, and the fact that he's saying that he doesn't is an indication that they do not see queer families
that's true
as families,
yes,
as having a stake or contributing to society.
Yes.
Now, since when we talk about what's going on with my body and the fact that I don't want to push out a parasite,
what?
Let's go. And just have this conversation, Jasiri. Like, dang.
Oh, wow.
What I will say is I care greatly about the future of my livelihood and my friend's livelihood. And I care greatly about being a part of a collective community that's a part of being Black and having Black liberation theology that believes in the collective and believes in the village and believes that like we are all tied and bound together. So, you know what? Would it be really bad if I popped up pregnant and like,
oh yeah, that'd be hilarious.
My child's like, oh, I'm a parasite.
Oh no, I mean,
like a few years.
That would be crazy.
But anyways, no. But I love other people's children, and I'm glad other people have children and bring them love and support into the world. But no, like, do I not live here? Do I not have to eat and be on the streets? And do I not have to like grow old? Like, why would I not care about like what is going on in the world?
And also, I would just say, also, like, just because you don't have a child now, don't mean that you might not.
Don't be speaking stuff on me, Jasiri.
No, I'm just saying. Or you may adopt. I mean, there's all other things. There's other ways that
I have so many queer kids. That's fine. I collect. I have a whole collective. Yes, I love being the auntie.
Yes.
But please stop, because now you're talking my mother and my grandma just had conversation with me on Monday. So
hopefully you're not watching the show, Mom and Grandma.
So a conversation that I've been having a lot with, you know, people of my age group is the morality of having children in a world like this. It's like, is it even moral at this point to birth a child into this system?
I mean,
you know what I'm saying?
that's
it's
a
like,
great question.
And if you have a stake in the future of this country, then you know that like it's kind of a shit show.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Not even kind of.
And
yes.
you don't even need to have children to be invested in it. You know
Correct.
What I'm saying? It's
Correct.
like we invest in it with our tax dollars, even though we don't even know where it's going, and we don't get to approve where they spend our money.
Come on.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like we don't need kids to be invested in this shit. Like y'all made us invest in this shit from the moment we were born.
No, but I think you do make a great point, right? Because it's like, what is the future of this country? And if you look at how, right? Well, no, I'm just saying, if you look at how the United States has been operating, particularly with foreign policy, if you look at like the state of the world, right? I mean, literally, like it's wild, because you're JD Vance. On one hand, you're talking about being invested in the future of this country, but on the other hand, like you're denying climate change. So like, then what does the future look like for my children if you're denying climate change? If, like you said, if that child says, you know, I want to be queer, I want to be, you know, bi, I want to be trans, you don't want a future for that child in that capacity. Obviously, we're going to have Black children. You want to roll back these protections. You've already said that, right? Anything we get, you know, that's the other critique on Kamala, right? Anything Black people get is DEI, you know what I'm saying? So it also will be interesting to see Trump in front of these Black journalists. Are all these people DEI hires? Are they only here because they're Black? And this, are you going to push back on that? And so if you're somebody that's Black and you're talking to a JD Vance, it's like, if you're going to be in charge of my future, do I want to even bring children into this world?
Facts.
To me, that's a great point to make. Farouk, he also said that if you're childless, your vote, should you even be able to vote? Can you pull that clip up?
When you go to the polls in this country as a parent,
yes. Come on.
You should have more power.
Yes,
JD.
JD.
You should have more of an ability to speak your voice in our democratic republic than people who don't have kids. Let's face the consequences and the reality. If you don't have as much of an investment in the future of this country, maybe you shouldn't get nearly the same voice. Now, people will say,
not 3/5.
and I'm sure
not 3/5. Yes.
Washington Post and all the usual suspects will criticize me about this in the coming days. Well, doesn't this mean that non-parents don't have as much of a voice as parents? Doesn't this mean that parents
exactly
get a
what it means.
say in how our democracy functions?
Exactly.
Yes, absolutely.
At least he's not denying it.
I mean, so now obviously this is playing negatively to a lot. Again, like here's Trump, right? You roll back Roe v. Wade. That's been one of like women's rights has been like a big center point. He's trying to talk about it in a way that he tried to roll it back. Oh, everybody wanted Roe v. Wade. All the states wanted. But now you choose a candidate who's basically saying like a woman's value or a person's value is on whether or not they create a child or not.
Someone said on Twitter, JD Vance watched Handmaid's Tale and thought, now that's the America I want to see.
You know, I think that is very interesting because there's so much legislation that penalizes people for not having children, right? Your tax structure is different.
Each on them, putting them on
right? Your ability just to exist in the world is different, right?
Yes.
If me and my friends want to go out twerking, it's okay if we're at a club. But if we're outside, you can go to jail. Why? Because a child can see you, right?
Miracle, at brunch, I just want to eat my eggs Benedict.
but I'm saying this, the way you're able to navigate the world depends on if there's a child present and if they could see you or not. So there's already so many barriers and limitations that's put on. They're even trying to pass this COSA bill, which changed the whole entire way you're able to access the internet because they're like, children may be able to find out that gay people exist. So this whole conversation that's talking about people with families should get more or less rights makes absolutely no sense because you're still not even passing policies that allow for families to survive, that allow for families to have money, to have health insurance, to be able to retire, to purchase homes, to have Social Security. So you're still attacking families while you're telling people that like your vote is going to matter more. It's dumb.
There's a very famous athlete who said something about the children.
Oh yeah.
Oh, shout out to him.
Did he say that? Man, fuck them kids.
But one of my favorite, I forgot who it was. Me and my friends debate over this quote all the time. It's like, as a parent, you're supposed to have children that don't have to recover from their childhood. And I do think that there is a conversation about this whole breeder movement that is trying to tell people have children, but then not to have the psycho-emotional social emotional learning attached to it. So there's this idea that like you're supposed to, invest in the future, but investing in the future isn't by loving your child, isn't by supporting your child, isn't by protecting your child, isn't by accepting your child if they're queer or trans or disabled. So like, I'm very confused about like this whole ideology of like, let's just have more people at a time, like you said. We don't even have enough housing or food or water or political stability to make sure that people will be here in 5 years. We don't even know if people are going to be housed within 10 years. So it's just very weird to see people making these arguments on a national scale right now.
Yeah, it's funny because there's also this thing about like somebody made a joke online and said like there was a excerpt in J.D. Vance's Hillbilly Elegy, I guess, book that talked about J.D. Vance having sex with a couch.
Oh my God, please stop.
And
what?
Yes.
There's couches, cookies, and socks, a whole bunch of stuff.
And basically it was false, but it went viral. So now this whole thing, so now it's another thing about J.D. Vance is everybody talking, like John Oliver said, I've never seen someone with more couch fucker energy. You know what I'm saying? Like J.D. Vance. And so again, like this is so there's talk that Trump actually might replace this dude.
That sounds very painful.
VP, like somebody had a video, like they took the DMX, Tanya, Tanisha, Karen, and they had all different couches.
Oh, fuck.
So again, like this is, and then the last thing also is, and I definitely also want to get you all's, basically the new thing the Democrats have been rolling out that is actually catching hold about Republicans is they're weird. That these Republicans
these niggas
are
fucking
weird.
Couches. Jesus. Like, yo.
But again,
how down bad do you gotta be? No.
Let's not.
Because the next stop is like a cat.
No, that's
not the next stop to a couch. The next stop would be maybe like a large mattress
or like an armoire or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
Like I don't know. I just don't. I don't see why we shouldn't kink shame certain things. It's like I just need someone to tell me why it's not okay.
What's sexy about this couch?
To kink shame, especially if niggas is fucking inanimate objects.
Yes.
I mean, what goes on in people's private
Exactly,
homes,
yes.
as long as there's consent
You ain't
with
seen this
living
lazy
adults.
boy? How it shakes with the recline feature?
Okay, let's not pretend none of y'all have all like sat on a couch and did your big one. So let's pretend.
No, what?
Let's not.
I mean,
let's,
couch sex is one thing.
Exactly. Okay. Anyways.
But we're not fucking the couch.
Yeah.
Who knew?
Sex on a couch versus sex with the couch.
Welcome to This Week in White Supremacy.
Let's not
where you get
pretend
in-depth
all of y'all
breakdowns
we're running through
couch sex.
socks.
Hey, listen, this is
Let's
sexual
not pretend
education.
like y'all were not running through socks in your.
Oh, no.
All right, that's
Okay. So
that's
anyway,
a different thing.
as we proceed,
It wasn't like we were in the sock drawer like, hey, yo, this sock?
This
Yo,
is sexy.
the Nike, listen, the Nike Tech sock.
I like the
If
black.
anything,
I like the black
we're
socks
reducing
better.
waste.
Once you
know
go
what I'm
black
saying?
socks, you never go back.
And we're reducing waste for the environmentalists.
Nigga said I want tube socks.
You can't really use the ankle sock, though. I mean, at least I can. I mean, no disrespect. I can't speak for nobody else.
hold on, I can't.
That's funny.
I don't know your struggle.
I don't know.
Ankle sock, my dear brother in Christ. What is happening? No, but I do think that like it is weird. They are weird.
They're
They are
weird.
Yeah.
Like all you talk about is like hating other people.
Yes.
And you're obsessed with what other people are doing. It's
Yes.
weird. No personality, no ability to have a conversation. Just anger, hate, and incel vibes. Just weird.
And one thing I will say about JD is like he reminds me of that guy in English class that was really articulate but a fucking asshole.
Yes.
And that nobody fucked with. And it sucks because like he has such a good voice. I'll give him that.
Yeah.
But every time he opens his mouth, he's just saying bullshit.
It's funny because there was Vivek, another person who is that guy that got picked on.
Yeah.
They're like, the Republicans are full of these. And like you said,
pick me, okay?
These dudes are weird. So Vivek said this whole their weird argument from the Democrats is dumb and juvenile. This is a presidential election, not a high school prom queen contest. It's also a tad ironic coming from the party that preaches diversity and inclusion. Win on policy if you can, but cut the crap. Now, mind you,
he said include the weirdos under your big umbrella.
But again, this is a guy, like your candidate is like Sleepy Joe, Crooked Joe. Like, come on, man, you have the most juvenile candidate in the history of presidential races. All he does is make fun of other people.
And he's graduated from juvenile to felon.
Come on now.
I think it was Governor Tim Walz who started this, like their weird conversation.
Yes, he said they're weird. Yeah,
he was talking about like how mean and angry and violent a lot of these Republicans are. Like you're not going to like a Republican event to have fun, to meet people and like make friends.
No,
there's this whole conversation that like a lot of these conservatives don't have friends. There's a male loneliness phenomenon that's occurring. Weird. It's weirdness. Like y'all are literally
you're dressing. You got like Trump capes and clothes,
khaki pants and blue polos to run through.
Let's go,
cities.
Brandon. Yeah, you got mask on and you're being all racist.
Now we wear masks to like COVID-19 and stuff.
I mean, masks to cover your racist and all that. Yeah.
I know. I just like to,
So this is what Tim Walz said. He said, there's something wrong with people when they talk about freedom. Freedom to be in your bedroom, freedom to be in your exam room, freedom to tell your kids what they can't read. That stuff is weird. They come across as weird. They seem obsessed with this. You know what I'm saying? So it is weird that you say freedom, but you want to take away all these freedoms. It's weird. It's weird energy. So
what did you say? What did you say the ballot the thing that people were saying earlier this year was like see the Trump or the couch? Gives a whole new meaning now.
It really does.
Either Trump or the couch. JD Vance said, well, I can have both.
Man.
Lord have mercy.
This is why we don't do early morning taping.
Oh my God.
Early morning.
But this is great. This is great.
So
taping.
AOC,
Wow.
AOC responded to Vivek. She said,
What's AOC? AOC stand for? Always on the couch?
Oh shit.
gosh.
Always on the couch is crazy. He wishes to for that. She said, being obsessed with repressing women is goofy. Trying to watch what LGBTQ people do all the time is abnormal. Punishing people who don't have biological offspring is creepy. It's an incel platform, dude. It's super weird and people need to know. And so again, I mean, to me that they're right. You know what I'm saying? It is weird. It's weird that you're like, you want to enforce like your ideology on everybody else. It's weird energy.
And it's also, oh, go ahead.
I was just saying super. Just
Super weird. But it's also like you're telling people that they need to have children, but also banning IVF.
Right.
Like, right? So it doesn't make sense. Like, the only way I possibly can have a child is if I go through IVF. So, like, why are you then, like, trying to ban the way people have families? Oh, that's the way queer people have families. Right. So you don't want that to happen. So, again, it's just weird. And it's kind of funny that this is also National Black Women's Infertility Week that they're having this conversation. But I do think there's a lot of people who feel like if you don't have kids, you don't care about other people. Why are you nodding?
Because I'm thinking of something crazy funny right now.
Just say it. Just let the thoughts out.
IVF has a new meaning for JD Vance.
Oh my God.
I value furniture.
I'm telling you,
wow.
There's
Wow.
gonna be like a jump.
I can't
a
believe
whole host of people out here just gonna be like,
Yeah.
But yeah, so I think that was like interesting. But again, it's weird to go out and qualify what is a family, whose vote matters, who can be able to engage in public policy, and then be shocked and surprised that people are responding in a way that's like, why would you say that?
Exactly.
And how do you quantify those? Like, are we about to do the 3/5 compromise again? Like, if you have if you have one kid, your vote is a little bit more. What if you have
that's a great question. Yeah.
Like if it's a Duggars or somebody got 16 kids, you get like twice as many votes. Yeah. Like, and how do you count that kid? Like, do you run for office? Do you get like twice as many terms? Like, it doesn't make any sense.
Also, I'm thinking about the bigger picture, right? It's like, if this is his argument now that if you have kids, you should have more power at the polls, is this part of like some scheme to have more white children?
Yes.
Yeah.
That, I'm telling you, that CNN article that was like by 2030, America is going to be multicultural, did a big one on people's brains.
It definitely did.
And so much of policy has been to have more white children, but what's been happening is, like JD Vance, more white people are having sex with other non-white people.
Right.
So more quote unquote pure white children are not being born. Most children now are multicultural, biracial.
I mean, JD Vance's children are multicultural.
Right. Yeah.
So like it keeps failing. Their plot keeps failing. So maybe they just need to stop being weird.
If Trump,
if people may want them.
If Trump replaced JD Vance, does he like kind of go on a fuck you tour against him? Like, does he like start throwing him under the bus also? Like, well, he
definitely.
Like.
And does Trump now, because of Kamala, try to get somebody black? Like, does Trump replace JD Vance with Tim Scott or
Tim Scott is not,
or the other guy, Byron Donald? Whatever.
Byron's actually a better, more charismatic person.
Yeah, no one's gonna believe Tim Scott.
Right. So does Trump try to find?
His even pretend girlfriend didn't believe him.
Or like you said, or does Trump go to find some black woman, some black Republican woman to try to offset, or a woman in
Candace
general?
Owens?
Or does he go and get somebody like a Nikki Haley that's clearly like a more serious person? I don't know if Nikki Haley would do it, but Nikki Haley actually gives him somebody that is a more serious person, is a person that can talk about policy. Like, love her or hate her, Nikki Haley is somebody who could show up at a debate and actually do well and represent. I mean, here's JD Vance in the debate. I'm coming with all couch jokes. If I'm debating against JD Vance, I'm coming with all couch jokes.
It's like in The Boys when Homelander brought up the octopus.
Oh yeah. So again, like you can just clown and dunk on JD Vance. You just had like one of his friends like release all of these emails.
He said he hates cops and
he changed all of the things he said he believed in. He changed.
He has no original thoughts.
Right.
Yeah.
There's a picture going viral where he's wearing a shirt that has a Russian shirt with a hammer and a sickle on it. And so again, man, like come on, bro. And we know who you are. So if you're Trump, maybe you say, I don't like Nikki and Nikki has been critical of us.
But that makes him look like a stronger or more intelligent candidate.
It definitely.
To recruit someone like Nikki. He's like, hey, listen, we don't get along, but I think she's the best candidate out here.
Yeah, and now Nikki Haley, or what was the other one who had the viral critique of Kamala, but she kind of she was like Hawaiian or something, or what's her name? Started with a T. It's like you know what I'm talking about? Miracle. Oh, you don't want to say her name? So if he goes to get somebody like that, what's her name? Tulsi. Yeah. If he goes and gets somebody like that, now you have somebody on your ticket that can be critical of this other woman. Like JD Vance is somebody who is like losing women voters. And so now because of Kamala, you need somebody. So I think you can justify it and say, hey, we chose JD Vance because we were thinking that this was the candidate that we were going up against. Obviously, we have a new candidate, a new energy. Now you need new energy.
Yeah.
And so I do believe that if Trump is intelligent and the circle's intelligent, he got to cut tie. This dude is
He's gonna torpedo your entire election campaign.
He's falling like a rock, and then it just gives us another reason to laugh at JD Vance.
And then he's only there because he's
gonna kick him back to the couch.
Opponent,
which he probably would love to be. Get to.
He was on the campaign trail on Friday.
Say that
he's on the couch on Monday.
He ran his senatorial race, particularly in Ohio, that just passed abortion rights.
Yeah.
Because the Democratic challenger was trying to be a mini Trump, was trying to say, oh, I'm not super progressive, I'm not super left, I'm not like these woke mobs out here. And instead of leaning into democratic principles, he tried to run as this moderate conservative, and he lost. So again, if you are trying to actually talk to people and the issues that are on the ballot, you have to lean into Kamala, these progressive issues that people care about, that bring people out, that make people excited, that make people want to go out and talk to their neighbors and vote for you. We can't keep having people running as moderates and then being like shocked that people are not excited about their campaigns.
Right. And so there is, I know we're over time a little bit, but I do think we also have to have a conversation, because we ended the conversation last week talking about Sonia Massey, who was killed, unarmed, didn't do anything wrong. Really, she called the police, and this police officer killed her, because one of the things, like in the wake of this and in the wake of, people were mobilized all over the country. Shout out to Intel Freedom for leading the call to do these vigils for Sonia all over the country. We did one in Pittsburgh. Shout out to those organizers here and all over the country. But one of the clips that went viral was that Trump basically said, again, he said it before, but that he said he would give federal immunity to police officers. Do you want to play that clip?
That we're going to give immunity to police so they can do their job. I'm giving federal immunity to police officers so they can do their job.
Right. So this is after we found out that the deputy who killed Sonia Massey, Sean Grayson, was removed from the Army because of his behavior, had multiple DUIs, you know what I'm saying? And needed high stress decision classes. So here was somebody that by all accounts should never have been a police officer, that was like, should never have been hired, and that led to this murder. But in Trump's world, he would be given federal immunity. I don't know if federal immunity, Miracle, maybe you could tell us, would this like overwrite a state giving charges? And I mean, I guess, and then this is my conversation, particularly these rappers that are supporting Trump. Like, do you want a world where, in Trump's world, where you could, make these officers immune.
Federal immunity, he's essentially saying that the civil rights, the DOJ,
right,
which is one of the premier organizations that prosecute police officers, would not be able to prosecute police officers.
Yes.
On the federal level. So then that's what federal immunity would be. Qualified immunity is what a lot of officers already have. That basically says if what they're doing is in the course of their job, they really cannot be held personally responsible unless there's like this like severe, extreme criminal deviation from the code of conduct that they're supposed to be engaging,
right,
which basically allows for a lot of police officers to do a bunch of bad things, but say it was in line with what I was supposed to do in my job description, my job duties. And so him saying this is horrible, and it goes to show that if he's going to be a dictator and he's going to use and weaponize the police against people, and he wants people to do it on the federal level, he'll be able to protect them.
And it also goes into right, and it also goes into with this officer where this conversation about DI. This conversation of like, well, if a black person has this job, like they somehow didn't earn it. This was a guy who was discharged from the Army. It says for serious misconduct that had two DUIs. You would think if you're doing some type of background check to hire somebody as a police officer, that would come up. All this would come up. But despite all of that, he was able to work in 6 different departments, over the past 4 years. And so again, like when we talk about this, it's always this thing of like these white guys somehow just by being a white man, you've earned your job. But if you're a black or brown in these same positions, somehow you haven't earned it, which oftentimes the opposite is true. Would you all want to comment on any comments, Trouble, on federal immunity for police officers?
I have some very violent thoughts going through my mind that I don't think we should share on camera.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Well, we'll cut that. We'll cut that out. Farouk?
Trump is really, he's really trying to root into his base right here.
Yes.
Like, he knows who was at January 6th. He knows who was there supporting him.
Yes.
He knows where he posed the highest.
Yeah.
And that's particularly with the law enforcement crowd and those, the Gravy SEALs and all the people adjacent to that. So
yeah,
him saying that, it also had like, and like you said, there's a lot of rappers, and there's one particular that I wanted to highlight because I seen him saying some shit this weekend on his Instagram, and he had the MAGA hat and everything, and then he posted up the clip of Trump saying that, and he's like, "This is where you lost me." And I'm glad you had that come to Jesus moment. But
yes,
it's a very terrifying thing that Trump prioritizes law enforcement's inability to do their job.
Yeah.
In the wake of Asanya Massey, where we continuously see this isn't a system that you could reform. This is something that's beyond broken.
Yeah,
that needs to be completely eviscerated and abolished. Yet you want to uphold the status quo, which is one of the most, if not the most terrorizing and terrifying things for a black person in this country, which is the current form of law enforcement.
I mean, that's what it is. And it's also like as law enforcement continues to set year after year records for killing people, they're not just killing black and brown people, they're killing white folks too. You know what I'm saying? And so it'd be interesting to see how some of these white people who have been victims of police brutality or police violence, you know what I'm saying, like would think about a day or a time where even these officers, whatever they do, no matter what they do, they can't be prosecuted. This is the world that Trump wants to bring in, and just another way to kind of show how the difference between, Trump and Kamala Harris. And speaking of that, we can go right to our white pages because it says it's after Black Lives Matter by Cedric G. Johnson. Obviously, this is kind of talking about the rise post George Floyd, and it was because we saw this police misconduct captured on tape for 8 minutes, right? Mm-hmm. We saw this officer, we saw like the slow death of George Floyd, and it led to people calling for a lot of police reforms, and it actually led to real policy reforms, some that's taking place right here in our city. It says, why did a movement as powerful as one inspired by the murder of George Floyd fall short of securing its most militant demands? After Black Lives Matter argues at the core of the movement itself failed to locate the central racial injustice that underpins the crisis of policing, socioeconomic inequality. So just an interesting take on after Black Lives Matter or the Black Lives Matter movement. It's interesting to see like the Black Lives Matter kind of using their platform to say like Kamala Harris's selection is like undemocratic. That's been pretty fascinating as well. But anyway, we are out of time for that. Do we have anything coming up?
Yes.
What's up?
Treble NLS has a show this Saturday at Club Cafe.
Yes.
Doors open at 7. Show starts at 8. Come see.
I saw that because you're like premiering like a diss song. It's been all of these like diss songs. So it did make me want to like go like, damn, I kind of want to see it.
If you're dissing me, can you wait because I won't be there?
Oh no, this is at Miracle. We love Miracle.
Come on, man.
I'll make a drill rap. I want somebody to diss me. I'm gonna be in here.
Oh, you're gonna be in there
in here on Thursdays.
Anything else coming up, Miracle, that we need to pay attention to?
You need voter registration deadline is October 21st.
Yes.
Pay attention to the One Hood social media. Some cool things.
We do. Damn, we ran out of time because we did have we had a lot of commentary. So we'll save our blackmail for next week. But like Miracle said, if you want to know what's going on with One Hood, you can follow us on social media. On Instagram, it's at One Hood Media. On Twitter, it's simply at One Hood. Facebook, it's One Hood Media as well. Or if you want to support One Hood, you can go to onehood.org. That's the number one, not O-N-E spelled out, the number onehood.org. You can get your merchandise. You can get your swag if you want to represent us or represent One Hood. And if you want to critique us, or if you want to meet Miracle.
No! Like, leave me out of that.
You can go to info@onehood.org, info@onehood.org. That's a great way to connect with us. And so we'll have to get into some blackmail next week because we got a lot of it, but we ran out of time.
But shout out to you for saying I looked happy last episode.
Yes, for the first time, Miracle looked happy. She was happy as she watched Joe Biden fall.
No.
she was like, but anyway, any last words, Miracle?
Turn up, have a good time.
Yes.
Stay dry.
Trouble.
Never lose sight.
Baruch.
Get off the couch and get in the streets.
Peace, y'all. One Hood.